everybody, JC here from Toy News International and MarvelousNews.com, and today I'm bringing you another TNI news video recapping the highlights from Toy Fair this past weekend. I just got back from New York City, and today specifically I'm going to talk to you about all the Marvel highlights. I'm going to do a few other videos talking about other things like DC and such, but there's so much stuff to talk about I couldn't fit it all in one video. So again, today I'm going to go over some highlights from Marvel related products, Hasbro, Mezco Toys, Diamond Select Toys. I did some quick videos earlier in the week or so to talk about that stuff, so I'll be recapping some of that and then going into more detail and stuff. Also, I am still trying to get rid of this cold. I'm mostly over it, but my voice, I've still got a little bit of congestion, so if my voice gives out a little bit or such, that's why, because I've been fighting this cold for the past week and a half, which has been a pain in the butt. But anyway, let's hop into it because we've got a lot to cover. First of all, in case you don't know, the new X-Men Warlock Build-A-Figure wave is starting to hit retail shelves. It's hitting Target stores specifically. Now, I did some checking, and it doesn't look like other places are going to get this wave in until April 15th. At least that's when like e-tailers will start taking pre-orders for it. So it looks like Target has some kind of early release deal for this wave. So that's where it's showing up now. But don't expect to see it elsewhere probably until another month or so. Guardians of the Galaxy wave, the Titus Build-A-Figure wave, that one is hitting everywhere, Walgreens, Target, e-tailers everywhere. So if you haven't found that wave, you should be seeing it on shelves pretty soon. So with Marvel Legends, we did have a lot of reveals at Toy Fair this past weekend. A lot of Spider-Man reveals, so I'm going to start with Spider-Man. We got to see the full wave of the second Spider-Man Legends wave for the year. The first wave was the Sandman Build-A-Figure wave. And we'd seen most of these figures, all the movie figures had been revealed previously by Hasbro, but we got to look at the other figures which are comic book based. So just to recap, that wave, and this is the Vulture Build-A-Wing wave, where each figure comes with a piece of the movie Vulture's wings, which are massive. In the movie they're massive, and on the toy they're also massive. So I know some of you aren't a fan of that idea, but for me, I'm hoping this leads to more things like, Build-A-Vehicles and such. But to recap, that figure is going to include movie versions of Spider-Man with the armpit wings like we see in the trailer where he's flying over the Washington Monument. We're getting the homemade Spidey costume figure. We're getting the Vulture. So those are all the movie figures. And then for comic book, we're getting a modern Moon Knight in this wave, a classic Beetle finally, Cosmic Spider-Man, which is going to have 3 different head sculpts. So we're going to get a Peter Parker with a beard head sculpt. We're getting the Cosmic Spidey with where you can see the Spider-Man mask over his mouth and everything, and then just a normal looking Cosmic figure head sculpt. And then the final figure in that wave is going to be Tombstone. I know a lot of you have been waiting for a good Tombstone figure. I think that might use the Hyperion mold. I'm not 100% sure, but looks pretty good overall. The 2-pack, we finally got a look. This again had been announced, and we'd seen the Spider-Man figure and the Iron Man figure. This is a Homecoming 2-pack that'll be released everywhere. But the Spider-Man figure comes with the unmasked Tom Holland head, so we got our first look at that. And I got to say, it looks pretty good, looks pretty true to the actor. I think Hasbro's been stepping up their game with these movie head sculpts recently. The Star-Lord figure and the Titus Build-A-Figure wave was really nice, and this Tom Holland head looks pretty good as well. We're getting some 3 3/4 inch 2-packs for Spider-Man, so we're getting a Homecoming 2-pack that features Spider-Man and the Vulture figure, and then we're getting a comic book 2-pack that's going to have a Shocker figure and a Spider-Man figure. Other 2-packs that were announced for the 3 3/4 inch line are Doctor Strange, so that one's based on Doctor Strange movie and it's going to feature a regular Doctor Strange movie figure and then Doctor Strange in his astral form, and then a Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 2-pack that features Star-Lord and Yondu. Also for 3 3/4 inch, we're getting an Amazon exclusive box set. This is going to be based on the Sinister Six, so it's going to feature figures of Dr. Octopus, Vulture, Kraven, Mysterio, Electro, and Sandman. Now the cool thing about this set is it's going to be kind of a tribute to the old 5-inch Toy Biz figures, and so the packaging is made to kind of look like those old Toy Biz figures, which is cool. So moving back to the 6-inch Marvel Legends, we got to see more figures in the upcoming Marvel Knights wave. Now this probably is not going to see release until August. Most of the stuff that I'm going over, I don't have specific release dates, but likely most of it will be out before San Diego Comic-Con in July. But some of this stuff like the Marvel Knights and the Thor figures are not going to be out until later in the year, probably August time frame. But for Marvel Knights, we did get to see more figures revealed. So we had already seen the Jessica Jones and the Punisher figures from the Netflix series. We saw those at San Diego Comic-Con. And now for the first time revealed was the Daredevil figure, which looks really good, and Elektra. Now, other figures that are rumored for this wave include a new Bullseye figure and a new Blade figure. Now, those are not confirmed. Hasbro did not confirm those at Toy Fair, but we did see a rumored list a couple weeks ago that indicated that those figures would also be in this wave. And that list seemed to be pretty accurate based on other things that we saw this past weekend. So I don't really have any real reason to believe that it's not true, but again, that's not confirmed. Now, one thing that Dwight Stahl, who runs the Marvel Legends line, indicated at Toy Fair, if they did a new Blade figure, or if they released a Blade figure, it would be a new sculpt. It would not be the Blade figure that we saw a couple years ago. That sculpt is too old, and so they would go back and have done a new one if they indeed were going to release Blade. We got to see the second wave of Guardians of the Galaxy figures. So this is going to have the Adam Warlock figure and the Death Heads 2 figure that we saw at New York Comic Con last year. Also, it's going to include an Ex Nihilo comic book figure. He's a pretty minor character that showed up for a little while in the Avengers, all kind of yellow with the big horns and everything. And then we're going to be getting movie versions, a new Gamora figure, Nebula, Rocket Raccoon that'll come with the Kid Groot figure and have an alternate Rocket Raccoon head sculpt. And then the Build-A-Figure for this wave is going to be Mantis. Now, it is a smaller Build-A-Figure, but it's we talked to Dwight about it, and this isn't like an indication that we're going back to smaller Build-A-Figures. It just happened to be, in this case, that Mantis made the most sense to be the Build-A-Figure. They had already done created the larger figures like Death Heads, which you would think maybe would be the Build-A-Figure, but it wouldn't have made sense to go back and redesign him from a cost perspective to make him the Build-A-Figure. And to me, it's not a big deal. We're getting a lot of plastic in this wave, so it really doesn't matter which one is the actual Build-A-Figure to me. So it's kind of cool that we're getting, figures like Death Heads and then a Mantis movie figure as well. Now, this was not... Hasbro at Toy Fair said that they were doing figures for the new Thor movie. The only thing they teased was the Lady Thor figure, so we did get a look at that. Again, going back to the rumored list that showed up a couple weeks ago, if that's to be believed, that wave will not only include the Lady Thor figure, it'll have Odin's Son, an Odin's Son comic book figure, and then a Thor movie figure, and then an Enchantress figure, which we don't know if it's comic book or movie based. We've already had 2 comic book Enchantress figures released recently, so it's hard to believe we'd be getting a third one, but who knows. A new Hela figure, which would probably be a re-release of the one from the San Diego Comic-Con box set a couple years ago. An Ares figure, and then the Build-A-Figure would be Executioner. Again, unclear if those are movie-based or comic book-based. And that's just rumor because Hasbro would not say what was in their upcoming Thor wave. They just said that they were doing it. Also, a number of exclusives were announced at Toy Fair. So we're getting a box set, a 6-inch box set featuring A-Force, the characters from A-Force. This is a all-female team. So we're getting the Monica Rambeau, I'm not sure how you pronounce her last name, the old Captain Marvel that was part of the Avengers back in the 90s. She's changed her name a couple times, but I guess she's just going by her regular name now. We're getting a Lady Loki figure, Sif, Elsa Bloodstone, Singularity, and She-Hulk will round out this box set. Again, I don't have specific release date, but it should probably be out before July. Target will see a 12-inch exclusive of the Symbiote Spider-Man, Peter Parker in the black costume. Now, we will see released in the regular 12-inch line Deadpool, which should be out any day. I've actually already reviewed that figure. and then the Thor figure and the Hulk figure, which I told you about the other week. And the Hulk figure is going to be taller than the rest and will actually cost a bit more. It's going to cost about $75 as opposed to the normal $50 that those figures cost. Thor's going to have, his hammer should light up, so he'll have some features like that, which is kind of cool. And again, the Thor, the Deadpool, and the Hulk will see regular release, and the black costume Spider-Man will be a Target exclusive. Walgreens, along with the Invisible Woman that we already knew about, is going to see a Human Torch release. So we'll be getting 2 members of the Fantastic Four this year. And I do have to admit that that Human Torch figure, based on the image they showed us, looks pretty good. Walmart is going to see a release of the Marvel Legends comic 2-pack with Vulture and Spider-Man. Originally, I thought this was going to be a classic Vulture, but it looks like it's based more on like an Ultimate Vulture costume. So, but still, it's cool we're getting comic book versions. Now, they didn't specifically talk about the Black Panther figure, which I've actually already reviewed, but I do believe that figure is still coming and should be a Walmart exclusive. For Toys R Us, we're going to be getting a couple of 2-packs. So I told you about the Mary Jane and Spider-Man 2-pack a couple weeks ago. So we got our first look at that. It's been officially confirmed. Looks pretty good. And then also the Dark Phoenix 2-pack that I told you about has been confirmed. The second figure, in fact, will be Cyclops, classic Cyclops. And the Dark Phoenix figure will be a new sculpt, or not, I don't know if new sculpt, but not the exact sculpt of the regular Phoenix that we saw last year. For 3 3/4 inch, there's going to be a Guardians of the Galaxy box set released as a Toys R Us exclusive. This is going to feature comic book based figures. And then there's also going to be a 6-inch Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 2-pack. This is not actually an exclusive. It is available for pre-order at Entertainment Earth right now, but it will eventually be available everywhere. This is going to feature another Star-Lord figure and then Ego, who is being played by Kurt Russell in the movie. And then they teased, again, they didn't show anything, but they teased that Target would be getting some kind of Thor movie 2-pack, and then a something dealing with Marvel versus Capcom. So we have absolutely no details on that. We pressed them at the show to at least reveal what scale these would be in, how many there would be, but they weren't talking. So we're gonna get something with Marvel versus Capcom. The new video game's coming, and so they're doing something in conjunction with that. But I don't know at this point what scale it'll be. How many? Is it going to be multiple 2-packs? Is it just one? Is it, I don't know. So we really have no details other than that we know that they are going to be doing something with Marvel vs. Capcom, and it was listed as a Target exclusive. So moving on to Mezco Toys. Now really, I already talked, Mezco had their pre-Toy Fair event the previous week, and I already talked about that in a previous news video, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. They showed off the new Iron Man figure, which is very cool looking, and then Doctor Strange and Netflix Daredevil, just to name a couple. They had their Spider-Man figure, which is coming up soon on display, and a few others, and Wolverine. So I did want to tell you that I talked to Pierre from Mezco about the Wolverine figure. I know some of you had questioned the shorts Wolverine was wearing, and he said they're probably going to touch that up a bit and probably shrink those a little bit. So don't expect the look of that figure to change a bit before its final release. Definitely love that Iron Man figure, though. I think that's the highlight of the Marvel Mezco 112 line up to date. Really doesn't actually feature cloth. It's actually mostly plastic. Definitely nice detailing. You can remove the faceplate and everything. So that's definitely a very cool figure that I think everybody's going to want to check out. Diamond Select Toys had a number of 7-inch Marvel Select figures on hand. They also had mini-mates and statues and stuff, but for today I'm just going to basically talk about the action figures. So they revealed a new Lady Deadpool figure, Guardians of the Galaxy Star-Lord. There is a Drax figure coming as well, but they did not have that on hand. These are based on the new movie. We're getting a Netflix Daredevil. Everybody's doing Netflix Daredevil. It seems to be the popular character of the year. We're getting a Spider-Gwen, a 7-inch Spider-Gwen figure, and then a Homecoming Spider-Man figure. Then for Square Enix, they showed off a couple of new Play Arts Kai Marvel figures, unpainted prototypes, but we're getting Magneto and Doctor Strange. That'll be joining the soon-to-be-released Wolverine figure and Deadpool figure that they showed off last year. So if you're a big Play Arts Kai fan, I definitely think that Magneto figure looks pretty good. At least the prototype does. Now, a couple of things that were that came out this weekend actually weren't on hand at Toy Fair. These came out, leaked out on social media, and these are from the Wonderfest convention that took place overseas this weekend. So we got a look, our first look at the Max Factory Deadpool figure. This was announced about a year ago, but all we'd seen is like concept art, but not the actual figure. So this is our first look of the actual figure. It is an unpainted prototype. Don't have any specific details other than just this image, but that figure definitely looks like it's still in the works. So if you're a Figma fan and a Deadpool fan, you should probably be excited about that. And then finally, for Revoltech fans, we got a couple new reveals for the Yamaguchi line, the Revoltech Marvel line from Kyoto. So we already have Spider-Man and Deadpool, which are out now. We've got Venom, which will be released very soon. And then joining those figures will be a new Wolverine figure, which we got our first look at, and Spider-Gwen. Now I apologize, I don't know the source of these images. They just leaked out online. I'm not even sure if technically these images were supposed to be taken, but again, they're out there, so I wanted to tell you guys about it. There's also a rumor that there's an Agent Venom figure coming. I don't know how solid that rumor is, but that is the rumor going around, again, social media, that they're working on a Revoltech Agent Venom figure as well. So that wraps it up for Marvel. Again, a lot of stuff coming. If you're a Marvel fan, I think you better start saving now, because there's going to be a lot of stuff being released. And I'm sure there's even more coming, because I'm sure they'll have more stuff on hand at San Diego Comic-Con to announce for the second part of the year. So that's it for now. Again, I'll have other videos touching on other things from Toy Fair in the coming days. Also, I've got some stuff from the P.O. Box to open, and I'll be bringing the Q&A back as well. So be sure to stay tuned for that. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you later.